everyone, how are you? This is Bethany Gagne, and as many of you know, I've been studying biofeedback and meditation and reading the brainwaves of advanced meditators at the Monroe Institute and doing all this stuff for 35 years. I've been studying consciousness for 35 years and so many aspects of it, right? And so what would used to happen in the past is I'd come out, I'd do a peace project, and I'd come out and do some social media, and then I'd disappear because I'm really not a social media person, and I would just kind of disappear into the ethers, and we'd do our research in the background. But what I'm feeling called recently is because I've been studying consciousness for so many years, and I've been having some really deep conversations with friends and people that I know, I'm starting to feel called to actually share more about the consciousness work that I've done over the years. You see, it was because I was having my own experiences that I was doing those peace projects. Basically, it was common for me to wake up in the middle of the night and to have really profound sort of mystical experiences. It would be common for me to wake up in the middle of the night, have my heart just blossom open so big, I'd feel love for humanity and tears would just be running down my face. And nobody was more surprised than me that this would happen, okay? It'd be the kind of thing where I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be like, what the freak was that? Like, really? And so it would be common that I would wake up and I'd be in a current of energy, or I'd be in a stream of light. Like, this was just kind of what was happening. And if you think about it, like, if you really think about what I pulled off there with peace projects, I remember years ago in the very beginning when I was dating someone and he was mocking me for the fact that, like, Bethany, you think you can change violence with your mind, you know? And I laughed with him because it was kind of funny. I mean, think about it, that I had the nerve to go to police departments, go to mayor's offices, go to the law school and everything, and talk about how our minds can actually change violence, right? So where did that come from? It came from my own experiences of consciousness, and it gave me this incredible resilience. And often I would have those experiences in the middle of the night, and I'd wake up the next morning being able to take on all the challenges of such a series of research projects that they were incredible challenges, because people weren't ready for this meme, right? They were not ready for this. So anyways, but the reason why I'm starting to I'm going to try to make this discipline to myself that for once a week for a year, I'm going to share what I know about consciousness, because consciousness can help all of us. Consciousness can make it so that people who have been struggling with addictions for years can finally start to heal. People who are struggling with losses forever can finally move towards healing. Consciousness is this amazing salve that can help you orient to this world, help you make decisions quickly, move forward, and just have clarity. I always say how powerful clarity is. Now, what I'm going to offer you to support this right now is what is known now as near-death research, okay? So what happens is about 5% of the global population has had a near-death experience. And that's over 17 million just here in the US. In fact, so many people have had a near-death experience that there's now this whole body of work to determine whether or not near-death experiences are real or if they're really just hallucinations, right? They have this criterion to help people determine that. And one of the criterion is, when you came back from your NDE, did your life dramatically change? Like radically change? And that's exactly what happens. People have a near-death experience and they come back. And it's like they go back to their life and it's almost like a shoe that doesn't fit anymore, right? They have so expanded into some more of who they are that they look around, and unfortunately, there's actually an 85% divorce rate after near-death experiences, right? And it's maybe not so much the person themselves, it's really the person around the person that don't understand this person anymore. Because what the research shows is that when they have near-death experiences, people become more altruistic, more intuitive, and they often change professions. They can no longer, they're salespeople and they were taking advantage of people. They can no longer take advantage of people. Like, they start living this totally different lifestyle, and the people around them are like, who are you, right? So, but the point is that this consciousness, this idea of going over to the other side and experiencing the truth of who you are, enables people to come back and become risk takers and to take on this life with an abandon. In fact, one researcher was worried that when people came over, maybe they'd be more suicidal when they came back because they'd want to go back to the other side. And in fact, what he found was people who had NDEs were less suicidal than the normal population, the regular population, right? because they're what I say in my books, I talk about being calibrated correctly with the divine, calibrated correctly with this infinite, what I call our narcotic love. Okay, it's what every person who's struggling with substance abuse is trying to reach this level of consciousness. And they're using these substances or situations or whatever. They're trying to get that download, that thing that they are going after, and they don't realize what they're really going after is their own essence, right? They're trying to go after the portion of themselves that's right there, but they don't know how to access it. And that's why I'm being inspired to start sharing what I know about consciousness. Because it's like we're fish in an ocean and we're desperate for water and it's all around us and we don't know how to accept it. We don't know how to integrate it. We don't understand, right? Nobody's taught us this stuff. So after 35 years of learning how to navigate, in and out, how does this work in everyday life? How do you manage this? What's going on? I'm going to encourage this conversation. I'd love to have consciousness become an everyday word. And the one thing I'm going to ask you to start thinking about is what the idea of when you start to remember that you are eternal, that is your identity, that this meat suit is not who you are, that who you are is the spirit that inhabits this meat suit, then what kind of decisions would you make? How different would you live if you remembered that you're eternal, right? So this is the kind of like the conversations that we're going to start having. And what does that mean if you remember that you're eternal and you remember who you really are? It means that when you come to an old loss, you have a totally different skill set. You have a sweetness and a softness to bring to grieving and loss and things like that. And you can clean it up and you can start living more vibrantly, more free, and the gorgeousness just gets going. So your healing, your grief gets healed, and you get to live more and more in an expansive love. And I'm meeting more and more people in everyday life, people I've been studying for years, and we're talking about like how fun it is. And so I really want other people to experience this. I want all of us to remember who we are so that we can all live and share notes, right? Because consciousness is so vast. We've got to share what we're learning. So, all right, if you're interested in this, let me know. Just share this with other people. And each week I'll try to give you a very practical thing. And this week, try to start remembering, if you remember that you were eternal, what choices would you make? The Tibetans do this every day. They wake up and they see their own death in the morning and they go on and live their life for the rest of the day. So how would that change your perspective and how you love and how you live and the choices that you make? All right. I will be in touch. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.